Chapter 7, Town Divided. Holly Evergreen paced nervously in front of Mary Hollow's town hall, her footsteps crunching in the freshly fallen snow. The eternal Christmas lights twinkled overhead, their cheerful glow at odds with the knot of anxiety in her stomach. She clutched a stack of notes to her chest, the parchment crinkling softly with each step. "You've got this, Holly," she muttered to herself, her breath forming small clouds in the crisp air. "Just tell them what you've found. They need to know the truth." The truth. The word echoed in her mind, heavy with implications. The truth about Mary Hollow's dark past, about the imprisoned winter spirits, about the very foundations of their eternal Christmas. How would the town react? Would they thank her for uncovering these secrets, or would they resent her for shattering their blissful ignorance? A cool hand on her shoulder startled her from her reverie. She turned to find Jack Frost standing beside her, his icy blue eyes filled with concern and warmth. "Hey," he said softly, giving her shoulder a gentle squeeze. "You look like you could use some moral support." Holly managed a weak smile, leaning into his touch. "Is it that obvious?" Jack chuckled, a sound like icicles tinkling in the wind. "Only to someone who knows you as well as I do. You've got this, Holly. We've got this." Taking a deep breath, Holly straightened her pointed witch's hat and squared her shoulders. "Let's do this," she said to Jack, and together they entered the town hall. The council chamber was a circular room, its walls lined with candy cane pillars and garlands of enchanted holly. In the center stood a large, round table carved from gingerbread, its surface dusted with powdered sugar that never seemed to diminish. Around it sat the 7 members of the Mary Hollow Town Council, their expressions ranging from curiosity to outright suspicion. As Holly and Jack took their places at the head of the table, Holly couldn't help but notice how the eternal Christmas lights seemed to flicker and dim, as if sensing the gravity of the moment. The air felt thick with tension and the faint scent of peppermint and anxiety. "Miss Evergreen, Mr. Frost," Mayor Cordelia Candy Cane said, her silver hair shimmering in the muted light. "You called this emergency meeting. We're all ears." Holly swallowed hard, her mouth suddenly dry. She glanced at Jack, who gave her an encouraging nod. Taking a deep breath, she began. "Council members, citizens of Mary Hollow," she said, her voice gaining strength as she spoke. "What I'm about to tell you may be difficult to hear, but it's the truth. A truth that's been buried for far too long." Over the next hour, Holly laid out everything she and Jack had discovered. She told them about the hidden chamber beneath the great Christmas tree, about the ancient artifacts that hinted at a darker purpose behind Mary Hollow's founding. She explained their theory about imprisoned winter spirits and the true nature of the town's eternal Christmas magic. As she spoke, the reactions around the table were as varied as the ornaments on a well-decorated tree. Cornelius Candy Cane's face grew redder and redder, his candy cane staff creaking in his tightening grip. Sugarplum Fairy, the youngest council member, looked on the verge of tears, her wings drooping with each new revelation. Old Man Winter, the eldest among them, simply stroked his icy beard, his expression unreadable. When Holly finally finished, a heavy silence fell over the room. It was Mayor Candy Cane who broke it, her voice tight with suppressed emotion. "These are disturbing allegations, Miss Evergreen. Do you have any proof beyond these theories and circumstantial evidence?" Before Holly could respond, the doors to the council chamber burst open with a bang that echoed like a crack in the ice of a frozen lake. Every head turned to see Juniper Evergreen stride in, her green eyes blazing with determination. Behind her, looking somewhat sheepish, was a petite elf with mint green hair that Holly recognized as Peppermint Leaf. "Proof?" Juniper said, her voice ringing out clear and strong. "I've got your proof right here." She marched up to the table and slammed down a thick folder, sending a small cloud of sugar dust into the air. "I'm Juniper Evergreen, Holly's sister, and I've been investigating Mary Hollow's secrets for years." "Everything she's told you?" "It's true." And there's more. The council erupted into chaos. Voices raised in anger, disbelief, and fear. Cornelius Candy Cane stood up so quickly he knocked over his chair, pointing an accusing finger at Juniper. "This is outrageous," he bellowed, his face as red as his namesake. "You have no right to barge in here with these lies." Juniper met his gaze unflinchingly. "They're not lies, Cornelius. And deep down, I think you know that." As the arguing intensified, Holly felt a tugging on her sleeve. It was Peppermint Leaf, her eyes wide with a mixture of fear and excitement. "Miss Holly," Pepper whispered, "I've been working with the Magical Council. They've known about the imbalance in Mary Hollow for a while now. That's why they sent me here." Holly's eyes widened in surprise. The Magical Council's involvement added yet another layer of complexity to an already complicated situation. The chamber had devolved into factions, with council members and citizens alike taking sides. Some rallied behind Holly and Juniper, demanding to know more about the town's hidden past. Others, led by Cornelius, staunchly defended the traditional narrative of Mary Hollow's founding. As tempers flared, Holly noticed the physical manifestations of the emotional turmoil. The enchanted garlands adorning the walls began to wilt, their evergreen needles turning brown and brittle. The temperature in the room fluctuated wildly, patches of frost forming on the windows one moment, only to melt away in a burst of unseasonable warmth the next. Mayor Candy Cane attempted to restore order, her voice magically amplified to be heard over the din. "Please, everyone. We must approach this calmly and rationally." But her pleas fell on deaf ears. The revelations had struck at the very heart of Mary Hollow's identity, and the emotional fallout was too intense to be easily contained. Holly stood in the center of the storm, torn between her duty to reveal the truth and her love for her town. She watched as neighbors who had lived side by side for centuries now glared at each other with suspicion and anger. "Stop," she cried out, her voice cracking with emotion. "This is exactly what we shouldn't be doing. Mary Hollow has always been about coming together, about the spirit of Christmas. We can't let these revelations tear us apart." Her words seemed to penetrate the fog of anger and fear that had descended upon the chamber. Gradually, the shouting subsided, replaced by a tense, expectant silence. "Holly's right," Jack said, stepping forward to stand beside her. "We've uncovered some troubling truths, but that doesn't change who we are as a community. We need to work together to understand our past and secure our future." Mayor Candy Cane nodded, a look of relief crossing her face. "Well said, Mr. Frost. I propose we adjourn for now, give everyone a chance to process this information. We'll reconvene tomorrow to discuss our next steps." As the council members and citizens filed out, many still engaged in heated whispers, Holly, Jack, Juniper, and Pepper retreated to a quiet corner of the chamber. "Well," Juniper said, running a hand through her hair, "that could have gone better." Holly sighed, feeling the weight of the evening's events settling on her shoulders. "At least it's out in the open now. No more secrets." Jack nodded, his expression thoughtful. "The question is, what do we do next? The town is divided, and we still don't have all the answers." Pepper piped up, her voice small but determined. "I think I can help with that. The Magical Council has resources that might shed some light on Mary Hollow's past." The four of them exchanged looks, a silent agreement passing between them. Despite their differences and the tensions of the evening, they knew they needed to work together. "All right," Holly said, straightening up and brushing sugar dust from her robes. "Let's get to work. We have a town to save and a lot of questions to answer." As they left the town hall, stepping out into the snowy night, Holly couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. The truth had been revealed, but the real challenges lay ahead. The eternal Christmas lights of Mary Hollow twinkled overhead, a reminder of all they stood to lose if they failed.